We are in front of the Israeli School, Universal Practical Knowledge, the Philadelphia Division, here at 3226 Cheltenham Avenue in Philadelphia. We're standing in front of the school right now, getting a description of the 12 tribe sign that's been painted by one of the brothers that was in the school: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, Issachar. Those are the 12 tribes of Israel.
Shalom. Shalom. You've been waiting for this day, so this day has finally come. A lot of you have been wondering where this knowledge that you've been hearing is coming from, and the powerful truth that you've been hearing, how this was established. Well, we finally were able to arrange for the priests to come down from New York and spend some time with us. And I'd like to introduce them if I can. These are some great brothers. We're very glad to have them with us. We want to make them feel as warm as possible, because this is their work and the extension of their work and what they've laid down some time ago. I'd like to introduce, first of all, priest and Sixth Shield General, 4th in command in the nation of Israel, Lahab. I'd like to salute this brother, Majo. Barak. Yeshabiam, which means sit. And I'm going to turn it over now to Priest General Lahab.
Water, brother. I'd like to say this, starting off, we're very impressed at your school here, and we're very impressed to see that the brothers and sisters in Philadelphia think enough of the Most High and the Bible and the truth and your nationality to be a part of this, because most of the brothers and sisters are running from the truth.
All right, Shalom Israel. Yahweh Shem and Shabrak Salaki, we were having some technical difficulties. We just getting started. If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. Just gonna test the sound really quick, make sure we're good to go. All right, mic check. For water, Sherry. All right, sounds good. All right, again, Yahweh Shem and Shabrak to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemal Athab Hashim Yashad, all the sisters. I'm Priest and Officer Shar Yawan under Commanding General Yohana. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Okay, shout out to everybody tuned in. Kwamada, Sister Kwamada, Shalom, sis. Sherry, Cherie. All right, Shalom. Yahweh Shem and Shabbat to the brothers. Yahweh Shemar Tham and to the sisters. We got another Monday night history class. All right, another Monday night history class. We go live every Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. All right, we got good information that we bring out. Classes 6 days a week. All right, a lot of good information we give out to Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous. All right. And we're doing what Christ told us to do, which is to fish our brothers. Right. That's why it's so important to like and share the classes. All right. Comment in the chat, get the algorithm out so we can push this truth, get this knowledge to our people, get this knowledge to our brothers and sisters. All right. So tonight's topic, we're going to speak on some of the history of prisons inside the U.S. And the reason we're getting into this topic today is because if you've been watching on the news, you've been following the news, a popular topic right now, and the hellish condition of our people right now is what these ICE agents are doing all throughout America. ICE going around and terrorizing Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous, literally terrorizing us, right? Ripping babies out of our parents' arms and shipping them to detention centers, putting them in detention centers, sending them on planes. Imagine being a young child, a baby, being sent on a plane back to El Salvador, and you're waiting in a detention facility over in El Salvador, and you can't be released until a parent or guardian can get a hold of you. You got your parent or guardian inside of America while you're sent to El Salvador, and you're stuck there in some detention center because nobody is claiming you, because your parents are over in America trying to get back to El Salvador so that they can get their little child back, home. That's hell if you're Black, Hispanic, or Indigenous. You know what I mean? Not just situations like that, but these the conditions of these detention centers have been recorded as being terrible. All right, I'll see if I can I'll pull up a video throughout the class showing what some of these detention centers are like. Okay, so we're gonna start off in just breaking down a little bit about the 13th Amendment and what that did for our people. Okay, I'll start off sharing a quick video just to get the class started.
The Civil War had just ended. Over 4 million Black people, once enslaved, were finally told, "You are free." And in December of that year, the United States added new words to its Constitution. It was called the 13th Amendment, and it said, "Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist within the United States or any."
So this is what the 13th Amendment said. This is back in 1865. I think it was December 6, 1865, where they proposed or they established this 13th Amendment, which quote unquote abolishes slavery. Okay. And what was slavery for Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous? One of the main ideologies behind slavery was free labor. Free labor, and that's something that this world has never really seen to such a mass extent historically. Okay, historically, there was always something called indentured servants, where you would work for a term. You know what I mean? You might work for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, where you would be paying off a debt, or, you know what I mean, or working in order to get, housing or something like that. That's what indentured servants were, which is another word for just work, which is what a lot of people do today. You go to a slavery and you get a paycheck, you get a wage. That historically is what an indentured servant was. You receive something for your labor. Okay, but what did America do? These disgusting Europeans, these oppressors, what they did was they put they put something that the world has damn near never seen before, where your children and your children's were considered property of that slave owner. So you didn't just work 30 years and then receive a home or some land. You worked 60 years, 70 years. You know what I mean? You have on record working so hard where the muscles were tearing from the limbs of your body because of, you know, such harsh exertion. And you worked all these years for free, and then you go and have kids. Your kids are now property of that slave owner. And then, you know, that child grows up and they have kids. Well, guess what? Your children are also now property of that slave owner. Such a disgusting system that America created, that these Europeans came over to North and South Central America and created and established, and did it with such abuse. You know what I mean? You have it's on record of, you know, Europeans taking gunpowder in the Caribbean islands, putting gunpowder up somebody's rectum and literally exploding a slave. You understand? These were the types of severe abuse and conditions that they put on us for any type of disobedience. You understand? And so we went on and served out this, you know, long hundreds of years free labor. And after all this is said and done, by 1865, they go and write this 13th Amendment. All right. We'll back up a little bit.
It was called the 13th Amendment, and it said, "Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist within the United States."
So this 13th Amendment says we are no longer going to allow the use of free labor. Okay, this is the year where slavery was quote unquote abolished.
Or any place subject to their jurisdiction, except as a punishment for crime.
Except as a punishment of crime. So there was a clause, you know what I mean? There was there was a what if. We're going to get rid of free labor unless you are a criminal. That's very important to understand, because the number of Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous that, you know, currently occupy the prison system inside of America, the prison systems inside of Canada, the prison systems in UK is astronomical. You'll see time and time again where the majority of the prison population are Black, Hispanics, and Indigenous. This is something me and Ahabawan were speaking on last week, where you have, I think it's 60%, might be like 54% or 60% of the entire Canadian women's correctional institutions are made up of Indigenous women. Yet, Indigenous women only make up like 4% of the entire country of Canada. That prison was built for Indigenous women. Prisons are built for Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous. We see it time and time again, the amount of carding and over-policing that they do in our communities. The amount of convictions that, you know, that we, you know, we fight and turn out and find out we're not the actual criminals. We didn't actually commit a crime. But yet and still we'll sit in a prison for a year, 2 years, 4 years, waiting to see a judge. There was the story of a brother who's been waiting in a prison for 4 years. He's waiting in the prison for 4 years, waiting to find out if he's actually innocent or guilty. And he's been in there 4 years only because he does not speak English. He speaks another language. And they say that they cannot find a judge that speaks his language, so he has to sit and wait. These are the kinds of conditions that we're in, the kind of conditions that we're put in. Okay, so this 13th Amendment said that, you understand, that this free labor would be abolished unless it be for punishment of a crime.
Wait. Except as a punishment? Yes. Slavery was finally made illegal unless someone was convicted of a crime. That little word, except, would change everything. After slavery was abolished, many white lawmakers, especially in the South, didn't want to lose free labor.
Now, could you imagine where they say slavery is abolished except you are found to be a criminal? And then you have stories of these devils, these bastards, where they'll send a truck inside of a ghetto full of goods, clothing, shoes, you know what I mean, just basic necessities to life, and just leave the vehicle open. And what would they do? They would sit and wait to see if, people who have just been in slavery for 250 years, or people who are at the bottom of society, if they'll go and take some clothes so that they can live. And we would go and do that in some cases. You understand? I'm not saying it's right, but it's extremely understandable. It's like putting meat in front of a dog. All right, give me 1 sec. We're just trying to get a hobble on inside of the class. All right, give me 1 second. We got Officer 500, a hobble on, trying to get in the class. All right, give me 1 second. All right, bear with me, y'all. We just trying to get a hobble on in the class. Hey, Lord Christ, please.
Sorry, hey, the school internet is off. So if you can send me the link, I'm gonna try to get in on my phone. Get in with you.
Yeah, I'm sending it to you right now.
Go on, sir.
Yep, no sweat. Lord Christ.
All right, Lord Christ. Yeah, man, got my motherfucking shades on.
All right, bear with me 1 second, y'all. What I'll do is I'll jump back on the video. We could just watch that video.
In December of that year, the United States added new words to its Constitution. It was called the 13th Amendment, and it said, "Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction, except as a punishment for crime." Wait, except as a punishment? Yes. Slavery was finally made illegal unless someone was convicted of a crime.
Right, so I was saying, slavery was made illegal unless, somebody had committed a crime. And I was giving an example of where they would put trucks in our neighborhoods, you understand, fill it with clothing and, different goods and basic necessities to see if we would take it. And some of us going into the truck and taking goods, those police would come around and lock us up. They would catch us, lock us up. And what did that mean for us? It meant we were going back into slavery. Why? Because you are now considered a criminal. All right, what's going on?
You know, I had a little technical difficulties, so we had to come up another way to do this.
God, no sweat. We're good. We just going over the the basic idea of the 13th Amendment. Right? So, again, we had gone working, over 250 years of free labor. We go and commit a crime, and then they lock us up, and you are put back into slavery.
Damn right.
Because as soon as you commit that crime, you can now do free labor for the U.S. of A. Free labor, which is what America was built off of, which is why America rose to being, the greatest power the world has ever seen. You know what I mean? They are this great empire, colonized over 180 countries, damn near run the entire earth because of free labor. There's no other nation that can compete with that.
If I may, sir.
Come on, go ahead.
You know what that reminds me of, right?
Come
on. What's that? Exodus 5:4, where Pharaoh, he had free labor.
Mm-hmm.
He had the Hebrews in there working for free, right? And then one time he was providing them the straw. Right. And he got to a point where he was like, no, you folks can get your own straw. Mm-hmm. Right? Think about how much free does America want you to give to them, give to it. How much free labor, free substance, free work, free everything, right? America wants to charge you for everything, but the things that you get from America, the things that you give to America, they don't want to pay you what your value is. Right? We see brothers and sisters right now trying to get work and trying to get jobs. And let me just pull the scripture, sir.
Yep.
I think it's I'm gonna start at 4 and probably drop down to 8. So this is Exodus chapter 5 and verse 4. And the king of Egypt said unto Moses, Wherefore do ye, Moses and Aaron, let the people work? So like let the people from their work, right? So the Pharaoh was asking, like, you want me to let these niggas not work?
Mm-hmm.
Right? He said, get you unto your burdens. You know what that means? Get you unto your burdens. That's shut up and dribble that ball. Shut up and catch that ball. That's what it is. He told them to shut up and dribble the basketball. How often do we hear that?
Sure.
Right? Shut up and kick the football. Shut up and do this. He said, get ye to ye burdens. Verse 5. And Pharaoh said, Behold, the people of the land now are many, and ye make them rest from their burdens. Pharaoh still stuck on the fact I got a bunch of folk out here. You want me to let them rest from their burdens? I got work. America has work for you to do, slave. Mm-hmm. America has work for you to do. Verse 6. And Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, verse 7, ye shall no more give the people straw to make brick. As herefore, let them go and gather straw for themselves. So we're not going to assist you in your burdens, right? Guess what? In order for you to get this welfare, homegirl, you got to kick your husband out. Mm-hmm. Right? For you to get these food benefits, you got to kick that man out. Can't be no man in your house. We're going to come inspect your house and make sure there ain't no man in your house. Right? That's what's going on. Think about this. This is what Pharaoh told the taskmasters to do. Right? So the Pharaoh is as right now, if you look at it in nowadays society, nowadays principles, the Pharaoh would be like Donald Trump. And then his taskmasters would be those people in the different branches, the executive and the, what is the other one? Legislative and the judicial, being those different branches, right? And what they're doing is they're bringing these laws down on the people, right? They bring in these principalities, because the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, right? So they bringing these principalities down on us to continue to destroy us. I hope I ain't get offline, sir.
No, that's right. That's right on subject. You know what I mean? And like I was saying, the reason I got this class up was because you see all the things happening with ICE right now. You know what I mean? They're going around, locking our people up putting them in these detention centers and doing exactly what Pharaoh told them to do. You know what I mean? And how many of these cases are found out that, all our brothers and sisters, they're not even going to court. You know what I mean? They're not being brought to a judge to even see if they're a criminal. They're just being locked up in a detention center. And now because they're classified as a criminal, they are doing exactly what Pharaoh did to the people. Said, get to work. Laid on them heavy burdens. You know what I mean? Inside of these prisons, they're doing things like putting them in solitary confinement if they won't go to work. You understand how wicked that is to do to a person? You haven't been brought in front of a judge to be found out if you're a criminal or not. Then somebody tells you inside of the prison, go start making furniture. Go out in this field and start, plowing the ground. You know what I mean? Get in the kitchen and start putting together some food. And they're only being paid 50 cents a day, $1 a day.
I was looking at the survey.
Yeah, go ahead.
They were getting paid anywhere between 13 cents to $1 a day.
13 cents.
Right? That's I'm not sure. I'm not sure, right? But I think that's what they're paying, the prisoners that are in America right now that are in these prison facilities.
Mm-hmm.
So they're letting you know who they think you are or what they think you are. They think you're a prisoner.
God. Yeah, I think it's said since 1975, they have not seen a pay increase inside of the prison.
Damn.
1975, you working for 13 cents. In some states, I think some of the southern states, you know what I mean, coincidentally, where, slavery was a lot harsher in America, those states in the South, they get free labor. They're not even paying them.
If I may, sir.
Yeah.
They said that some of these guys are working for soap and toothpaste.
That's it. Yeah. They have to work a one to basically, quote unquote, pay their room and board. They have to work for their blanket. They got to work for their cold ass bed. They got to work for those 4 concrete walls. You know what I mean? The clothes that they wear, the soap, they have to work for those things.
Hey, Kahar, could you look up and see how much it is to house a prisoner, a criminal today, and compare it to college tuition?
Yeah, you are such a slave inside of America. Like this is slavery. This is the land of your captivity. That's why the Bible calls this place spiritually Egypt. You understand? Egypt, bondage. And let's see if I can find that statistic real quick. Prison population of America compared to other countries.
While you looking up that, sir?
Yep.
You mind if I jump down to 13?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is Exodus 5 and chapter 5 and verse 13. It says, and the taskmasters hasted them, saying, fulfill your works, your daily tasks, as when there was straw. Now, like I was saying earlier, Pharaoh provided straw, but then he stopped providing straw, so they had to go ahead and make their own straw to get the straw to work with the brick. Right now, they have to fulfill their task in building as if they already had straw, which they have to go out and get. Right. So what the taskmasters is just lumping more and more burdens on you. And the reason why I bring that up is because think about what's going on today, where you get people trying to get government assistance. Right. Before it was okay, if you got this, or if you got this ailment, if you got this need, or if you can't find a job, or we'll give you government assistance. Now they're saying you have to find a job if you're able to work. And if you're not able to work, think about this. Now you got to volunteer someplace for a certain amount of time a week and prove to them that you're looking for a job. So just like Pharaoh did back then, he added tasks upon tasks. That's the same thing that's going on right now in today's times.
Yeah, I don't know why. Usually when I look this up, I get the number real quick. But for some reason, they're taking me to some weird different graphs. But what I do know, like I remember the last one I looked at it. It's like America has like more than 100 million more inmates than the next closest country.
It was saying America has 80% of the prison population. I think you brought that up last week.
That's good enough. I mean, I don't need to look that up. America has 80% of the world's prison population.
Yes, sir.
And not only the world's prison population, but what a lot of people don't know is America also has government contracts with different countries like the UK. They have contracts with, the newest one, El Salvador, where they send their inmates over to these countries, to once again perform free labor. I think Donald Trump was paying $20,000 per ICE detainee to get shipped over to El Salvador.
Man.
You understand? Like we have, like the U.S. has contracts with, people all over the world. So I wouldn't be surprised if that 80% is even higher.
So if I may, sir,
go ahead.
We understood that, during slavery, slaves were sold anywhere from, $300, $400, $500 to, depending on what type of slave, what value of slave, up to close to $10,000. I wonder what that payment range with the inflation and money. I wonder what that looks like today. So remember when we did the story on the fancy girls, right? Now the fancy girls was going for close to $5,000 to $10,000 then, right? Which was $90,000 to $100,000 now, right? So just say $10,000 is $100,000. That means $300 would be close to $30,000. Right. So these slaves is going from it looked like from $30,000 to $100,000 now. Damn. How many of our people make $100,000 a year? You see what I'm saying? So you couldn't even buy, one of your family members from slavery with the money that you make today.
Right. I'm gonna pull up an article, just explaining some of the things, that these prisons are doing, how they're actually profiting, or actually how they're actually making money. All right, I just had to pull it up on my computer because I have this all on my phone. Bear with me 1 second.
Let's see if we got some comments. Who we got some comments from? We got Ann Smiles says Shalom family Detroit camp checking in. We got Masaga Bar out of Sag Nasty. Shalom Lord Christ. Yabashimi Ashab Brakatah to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Latah by Hashem. Yahweh Shah to the sisters. We got Maria. Look at her. She says Shalom Yadab. Look at her saying the greeting correctly. She getting good at it too, sir. She's been training. Most High Christ. She been training.
Was that Ann you said?
No, I said Maria.
Oh, Maria. Most High Christ says Yahweh Shema Latah by Shem Shai.
Yahweh Shema Latah by Shem Shai. Yep. So that's all we got for comments. Car, you got something? You want to jump in on it? Or you want me to read?
Well, okay, I want to get it up on the screen.
You say what, sir?
I want to get these articles up on the screen if I can.
Well, while you doing that, I want to look at this it's called an article is called Education versus Incarceration by Hiram College, right? And I'm just jumping down to see some of the numbers in it, sir. And it says right here, it says among the world democracies with 614 individuals incarcerated for every 100,000 in its populations.
Can you say that again?
So 614 individuals are incarcerated for every 100,000 of its population. Let me go back up. It said at one point, the United States led the world as a reform in jails and prisons, and the development of incarceration was a move away from punishment like mutilation, beating, and public humiliations. Most recently, though, the U.S. leads in a more dubious category, incarceration per capita, among the world democracies, with 614 individuals incarcerated for every 100,000 in the population. As the graph below produced from the Prison Policies Initiative shows, despite having less than 5% of the world's population, the U.S. has nearly 25% of the world's incarcerated individuals. So I was incorrect when I said 80%. It says this has not always been the case. As the second graphic demonstrates, the prison population in the U.S. stayed relatively steady from the mid 1920s until around 1970, when it started on a long, sharp increase. Right? This was in part due to the increased crime rate starting in the 1960s, but defies such a simple explanation as these were very considerable during early periods. It says, even when crime rates dropped, prison population kept rising. Think about it. How does the crime rate drop and the prison population rise? Somebody fudging the books. Somebody fudging the books. That means you're locking up people who didn't commit crimes.
That's right. I see they gave a number for last year, 2025. America has 1.9 inmates, 1.9 million inmates.
I got another number for you, sir. You ready?
Yep, go ahead.
In the U.S., we spend 80 billion. That's with a B. That's the B on it. Billion annually on corrections. But this is just the direct cost of running the facilities, paying officers, and the like. Estimate of overall impact includes indirect costs are that for every dollar spent on incarceration, it incurs an additional $10 in social costs. Right? So you know what that means, right? So that 80 billion, you got to multiply that by 10 to see what the effect it is on the social, on society.
Yeah, those numbers are absolutely insane. Like the amount of wealth that these prisons make, it's insanity. And what I thought was interesting too is, as I was looking some of this stuff up through AI searches, even the AI will tell you that a lot of this information is private information, and these numbers are not released to the public. So there's a lot of investigation that goes on into how much these prisons actually make, and a lot of it is going undocumented.
Yes, sir.
So it's hard to know exactly how much profit they even make.
like Kaharsi just said, he say, think about this. They're also making products inside the prisons.
Yeah, right? We're gonna get into that.
Oh, okay. We won't jump too far ahead.
Yep. I got an article here. Won't read through the whole thing. Just really quick. It says, this is from The Guardian. It says, why are for-profit U.S. prisons subjecting detainees to forced labor? Okay. It says in 2017, officials at the Stewart Immigration Detention Center in Georgia placed Shoaib Ahmed, a 24-year-old immigrant from Bangladesh, in solitary confinement for encouraging fellow workers to stop working. So check this out. This man, I think he's a Elamite.
Yep.
He's you know the U.S. They like to categorize him as terrorists.
Like
so, so he's in the prison and he's seeing these are immigrant detainees. So this is ICE going around locking people up, putting them in detention centers. And for some reason, inside these detention centers, they're doing free labor. Now, I thought, Ahabawan, and you can go on the ICE website, that these are not prisons. These are supposed to be detention centers, just a place to hold them while they're being processed, to find out what's going on with their immigration status. This isn't a place, that's supposed to be a prison. This is a place they're supposed to go to figure out what's going on with their immigration status, to look into if they've committed any crimes. Because if you're in a country and you're trying to get a visa or a citizenship, you might have a time period where you're not allowed to commit a crime. Because if you commit a crime that violates, the agreement that may give you citizenship. You know what I mean? Because you're showing the U.S. that you might not be a good citizen. You know what I mean? So they'll take away your ability to get a citizenship. They'll send you back to the country because you're violating your parole or whatever you want to call that. So you're supposed to go to these centers to figure out what's the status of your immigration. But we know when we see all these ICE videos, all the abuse that they're doing to these people. We're seeing the, guns being held to their heads. We're seeing them being, beaten down and thrown in the back of cars without even knowing if they're a criminal yet. So these centers that they go to, this man's here looking at them and saying, I'll read that again. He says he's encouraging fellow workers to stop working. And because he told them to stop working, they put him in solitary confinement.
Hold on.
It says Ahmed, who was paid 50 cents per hour to work within the facility, was upset because his $20 paycheck was delayed.
You already know how folk gonna act when that check don't come right.
Man, I've acted, wild over, a full week's paycheck. That was a lot more than $20. Oh boy.
I understand that, but you ain't making 50 cents an hour. Look, when you making, 30, 40, $50 an hour and the check don't come in, you sit back like, come on, what's going on with the check? What happened to the direct deposit? You got some sensibility about yourself. But when you make a 50 cents an hour and your check don't come in, you got to check everybody that knows. You can't, for real. The less money you make, the more you gonna spaz out.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember when I was working for KFC, right? It wasn't called KFC then, it was called Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know, that's before they took all the letters out the wording.
Yeah.
And I was making $4 an hour, and my check wasn't there at the end of the week.
Mm.
And this was supposed to be a fat check because I had worked like think about it, I'm in high school. I had worked like 35 hours. I wasn't in school that week, so I'm looking for that.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you like this. The next week, I started working for McDonald's. Like being 16 years old, you ain't get that $100 check.
Yep. Oh, did I take that off the screen? No, it's still there.
It's still there, sir.
Yeah, no, what you're saying is so true. You know what I mean? And the condition that this man is in, he's in prison.
Mm-hmm.
He's damn sure gonna show up.
He in hell inside of hell.
You know what I mean? And so, he didn't get his paycheck, or it was delayed. Starts encouraging other immigrants to stop working. And they put him in solitary confinement.
So he didn't really spaz out. He just told him, hey, you see what they did to me, they're going to do it to you. Right. So since they're going to do it, you might as well not work either. If they do this to one of us, you know what he was trying to do, right, sir? He was trying to unionize them.
That's right.
Right? And if he was to unionize them, now everybody has, think about it. The scriptures tell us to come together. Oh, nation is not desired. Mm-hmm. Right? It's telling us to come together. What is coming together? That'll be unionizing us. Just come on. Let's join up, become one voice, one motion, one speaking point. You see what I'm saying? Yep. And now we're more powerful together than we are separated.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the same thing this little Bangladesh or whatever his name is was trying to do for his ugly Bangladeshians.
Right.
That's just Bangladesh. That sounds like I'm gonna stop saying that word. That's sound like a plausible offense. But yeah.
Yeah, what are you gonna say?
Hello. You said you got what, sir?
Yeah, I got a little more on this article. It says Stewart is operated. So this is the facility. Stewart is operated by the largest prison corporation in the U.S., CoreCivic, formerly Corrections Corporation of America, under a contract with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which is ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The corporation's net income last year was $178 million.
Dang.
That is for immigration's detention centers. Okay. And I saw some videos which, kind of led me down a rabbit hole, to look more into the CoreCivic. Their net income last year was $178 million. And this article is 2018, I believe. All right.
That's whoo. You know what we could do with that? That's just 1 year, right?
That's 1 year.
Man.
All right. I'm gonna read this last part. It says, Ahmed's experience mirrors that of a growing number of detained immigrants at facilities across the U.S. who are subjected to forced labor. What's the title of the class again?
Still a slave.
Yeah, you still a slave.
What you say? Hey, Kahar says it sounds like a concentration camp.
Yeah. Oh man, if there's some time, I'll get into. I think it's called CPAP or CPOP or something like that. The detention facility down in El Salvador. Man, you want to talk about concentration camps? Like this place is, you know, the epitome of the depiction of hell.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like that place is not a place you want to be. You know what I mean?
If I may, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
I always thought it was like the Russian prisons or the Singapore prisons that were like the worst prison facilities to be in. It's El Salvador.
Man, if you see this prison, you know what I mean. I'll see if I had a video earlier on it.
Because I talked to a brother who just got out of prison not too long ago. He was in Jackson, up here in Michigan. You know, he had to do his first 60 days in Jackson. They say your first 60 days there, that's hell on top of hell. Yes, it's if you come out alive, some bad things may have happened to you.
Yeah. No, these places are hell on earth. You know what I mean? There's so many different situations or conditions that we're put in. And remember, again, this is a place where, you go to work for free. You know what I mean? I don't know if you saw the first part of the class where I was speaking on it too, where, we have examples of, our brothers going in prison for 4 years and they're waiting to see a judge. They're just on the wait list. You know what I mean?
Isn't it one of those laws or constitutional laws where you're supposed to have a quick due process? You know what I'm talking about?
Right to a speedy trial.
The right to a speedy trial.
Yeah, they ain't following that rule. I'll tell you that. You get on a list, let's say, there's examples of brothers who don't speak English. And because they don't speak English, they're put on a special waiting list to see a judge that understands their language. And so because you're on their list, you're sitting in there 2 years, 3 years, you know what I mean, on this special list to see a judge because, quote unquote, no judge can understand you.
Wouldn't it be easier to just hire an interpreter? Or maybe that made too much sense.
That made too much sense, Avon.
We got a question in the chat, sir.
Come on, go ahead.
You ready for it? It says, this is Ann Smiles. Ann Smiles says, what does it mean to be anointed with oil? She says, I had it done this last Shabbat.
Khan. Yeah, shalom, sis. Yahweh Shemal, Thabah Shema Shah. That's a sister that comes in, to the Sabbath service classes. Sis, come in class on Tuesday, okay? Come into the scripture breakdown class. That is an excellent question for Kapidar. All right, he'll fully break that down to you, sis. Okay. All right, that's Tuesday. Be here tomorrow at 7 p.m. All right. It's a very good question. I wanted to save that for Kapidar. All right, sis. What else? I wanted to keep going. I got a video here. No, Slacky, this isn't the one. Again, I apologize to everybody. We had some technical difficulties setting up class, so I'm trying to transfer all these videos and articles to my computer. So just bear with me a second. Okay, I got a quick video here I can share. So we can get into what a for-profit prison is. Okay.
Steps inside the secured area of the ICE Immigration Detention Facility in Elizabeth, New Jersey, immediately cleared up any confusion we may have had about what this place is and what it is not.
The facility detains immigration violators.
ICE has previously allowed human rights advocates to tour this facility, but until now, a television news crew has never before been allowed to tour and video record this holding center for undocumented detained immigrants.
Going to work when the ICE police stop the taxi and they get out with me from the taxi.
In our previous immigration reporting, we've heard stories like the one Anna Velasquez told us.
They were looking for me because unfortunately I couldn't get them.
Our goal with this report, to shine a light on the ICE center in the crowded law library. ICE Assistant Field Office Director Joe Simeo showed us around this converted industrial warehouse. We visited an outdoor rec area, which was really just a concrete court fitted with a large open-air ceiling grates and several men passing the time. Jamaican immigrant detainee Densley Lawrence has been here for 11 months.
What is a typical day?
So now, yeah, so like this is where I wanted to start the video. So this is a detention center, right, Alwan?
Yes,
and
sir.
You got this Jamaican brother who's been in here for 11 months. So it's taking them, this is just one example. It's taking them 11 months to figure out what are we going to do with this man. You know what I mean? Trying to find out, where do we ship this man? Where do we put him? And what do you think he's doing in there for 11 months?
Excuse me. I think he's studying the law.
He's studying the law. Let me tell you what else he's doing. That nigga is being put to work.
Yeah. he's slowly learning that the law of America. He's slowly learning that the law of America doesn't apply to him.
Okay.
Right, and as a Salakia, as a prisoner or a detainee of American law, what you have to understand is that the rules don't apply to you, and he's learning that. That's why these guys are, these ICE officers are able to go ahead, snatch you off the street with no warrant, no paperwork. Right.
Mm-hmm.
All somebody has to do is call and say, "Oh, I think Abawan or I think Shariwan are undocumented immigrants." Right. ICE pull up to our work, school, job, whatever, place of worship, snatch us out, and hold us until they figure it out.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and so it's sad because we go in here. You're breaking the quote unquote law of immigration. And that 13th Amendment just says, free labor is for those who are criminals. So imagine the scope or the range of things that you can do to be eligible for free labor. You understand? You commit any crime inside of America, they're adding in laws, every single day. Every year laws are changing. And these laws are here to trap you. They are literal traps. The scriptures paraphrase and say, they lay traps for us. You understand? Because just like coming out of slavery, they go and put that truck full of clothes and shoes and pants inside the middle of the ghetto. They're going to wait and see how many people take it. Your brother coming to America because you have medication for your family. You just looking for something to get a better life. and you have all these different, loopholes or all these different, laws that you've never heard of that can get you indicted. You know what I mean? Like Avalon, you saying he in there learning the law. Like so much of our problem. Do you know how many laws there are?
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? There's so many laws you've never heard of. You know what I mean? You'll get locked up because, you're peeing outside in a corner. They catch you for indecency because you didn't turn around at the second he said to turn around. You know what I mean? Now you're locked up for disobeying an officer. You know what I mean? Yeah, and this qualifies you for free labor.
Hey, sir.
Volleyball gym.
Yep, go ahead.
So, I was thinking about what you were saying about that, and you know what to fix some of this. What's going to fix it is Christ returning, but it's a way you could fix, some of this stuff right here on earth, right? So, if you go to the history of Susanna and the Apocrypha. And remember what happened to Susanna. You had two elders. They were trying to say that she tried to, commit adultery and all this kind of stuff. She said she didn't. They said she did. And basically she had to go to the courts. And then Daniel, being a prophet of the Most High God, came out and separated the two accusers and questioned them separately. And got different accounts of what happened and what went on. Right? But right here at what's this, verse 61? Right? Let's go down to verse 62. Well, let's start at 61. It says, and they arose against the two elders, for Daniel had convicted them of false witness by their own mouth. Right? So if they had just shut up and not said nothing, right? Instead of just trying to make up, some a false story or a lie on this woman, nothing would have happened to them. But right here in 62 is what needs to happen in today's America. It says, and according to the law of Moses, they did unto them in such sort as they maliciously intended to do to their neighbor, and they put them to death. Right? Thus, the innocent blood was saved the same day. Right? So you got these individuals accusing folk of you got ICE going out here accusing people of being illegal immigrants, right? Because what you have to understand that there's a difference between illegal immigrant and an undocumented immigrant. Undocumented means you could have just lost your paperwork.
Oh, that's it.
Right? You could have just lost your paperwork. So what you losing your paperwork, technically you undocumented until you get your paperwork back together. Right? What they should do with those individuals is, okay, cool. You come with us, we help you get your paperwork together. Boom, you good. You go back home. Or you send us your information, we help you get your paperwork, you go back home. You go back to wherever you was at. Now, the illegal ones, I understand, okay, it's certain things that you have to do to be over in this country. And then you get illegal immigrants that are convicted of crimes, or are I'm not going to say convicted. We're going to say that are committing crimes, right? Then we have illegal immigrants that are committing crimes. So what America is doing is we just grouping all them people up into one classification, and we hold them all together.
Yep.
So you don't know if you have a serial unaliver sitting next to a school teacher that just lost their paperwork.
That's right.
Right? Because I'm sure they're showing you the difference between, and if I'm undocumented, why do you have to separate the men, the women, and the children? Why you can't keep the families together?
God. Yeah, not,
we lost 1,500 kids in this. America lost 1,500 kids, right? Because they were accused of being undocumented immigrants.
That's right.
And they're not telling you that some of these children were American citizens. They were birthright citizens.
Right.
So with them children being birthright citizens, that means you illegally taking them away. Now, where are the lawsuits that are opposing ICE?
There are thousands.
You see?
Hundreds of thousands.
But you know what they do? You know how you clean that up? Deport them.
Yeah.
That's how you clean it up. You deport them.
Yeah.
Right? So Trump is only doing what. Now, I seen a documentation the other day. It says that Trump has deported the least amount of individuals. And this, I don't know how true this is. This just said, this was an article I read the other day. Right? So with it being in the news, I can't say that it's true or false, but this is what I read. Trump deported less individuals than Obama, than Bush, than both Bush and Clinton. Right? They said Trump has deported only right around 5 million so-called illegal immigrants. They said that President Obama got rid of what is it, close to 12 million.
And you know why that makes sense to me, Hubba?
Because they call him, you know, what was his nickname? Deported in, what they call him, deported in chief or something like that.
I don't know about that. But what I do know is, you know, knowing Donald Trump's greedy ass, I don't know why he'd want to deport them. You want to keep them here so they can work for free.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Which is why there's such a rise in these detention centers being opened up. They're being opened up all over America right now. You know what I mean? So I don't, you know, whether those numbers are true or not, you know, I'll believe they're true. To me, it would make sense for him to keep them here because it makes America more money.
You have, you know, and you know, I'm not using this as a knock against my brothers and sisters, but you had individuals that were picking strawberries and grapes and fruit and vegetables, right, for, you know, a couple bucks a day. And the prices of fruit was cheap. Right? Why you think we get so many imports from China? Because China got such a low amount of labor costs.
That's right.
China's labor cost is so low that they can make those. Look at your iPad. Look at your television, made in China.
Yep.
Right. Everything. Look at your car parts, made in China. Right. So you get a. Let's say you get a part of your car that's made in China. By the time you get over here, it costs you $2,000-$3,000. Right? But the Chinese government made that for how much?
Yep, cheap as hell.
So I understand why Trump wants to would not want to deport, but to detain.
That's right.
Because it goes back to it goes back to slavery.
Yep. That's exactly it. You know what I mean? And the longer he can keep you inside of there, the more labor he can get. You know what I mean? Imagine running a business, Ahabawan, and you get, you know, 1 month of free labor from somebody.
Man.
1 month, just one person. You'd be on cloud nine.
Yeah. Look at this. I'm gonna put it in the street. Imagine being the dope dealer like Donald Trump, because you can't tell me you don't dibble and dabble in drugs, right? And all your workers bring you they all pros. They don't take nothing off the top, right? You don't got to pay them. They just doing it like the slavery on the strength of, right? Imagine how fast you'll rise to the top. You get 3 months of some guys doing, you know, a team up of some guys doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Think about this. Out of all the cotton that was picked, these white folk paid black folk less than $1. They paid them nothing. All these millions of slaves together, they may have earned $1 picking cotton.
God.
Right? Imagine $1 split up by millions of people. And the reason why I put it like that, because think about this. The slave owners had to use some of that cotton so you can make your own clothes.
God.
Right? On the strawberry plantations and the apple plantations, you had to eat some of those apples so I could keep you alive.
God.
That's cents on a dollar.
Mm-hmm.
That's cents on a $100 bill. Cents on a $100 bill. You see that?
Yep.
I'll take that every day.
God.
I'll take that every single day. And according to this Bible, we gonna get it.
Mm-hmm.
In the book of Revelations, we are going to get it, right? And guess what we get to do? Give them double upon double.
God. Yeah. Shoot. I'm gonna touch on that again a little later, because that's such a heavy point. You know what I mean? When we speak on double, because as I was looking into this a little bit, you know what I mean? I went to school for business,
Mm-hmm.
and my business mind started running as I was, just kind of reading on what they were doing, and I'm like, damn, they have, man, how would I define it? They have like the perfect business scheme. You know what I mean, for lack of a better words.
If I may, sir.
Hold your point 1 second.
Okay.
And as they have this business scheme that I'm looking at in my mind, when you had said reward them double, I was like, oh, our kingdom is going to be something else.
Mm-hmm. The streets gonna be paid in gold.
Yeah, go ahead, preach.
Right. And what you're saying is so heavy. If you look at the business side of it, right? Imagine if what's going on now in today's society. Ford and GM and Chrysler, they're paying out profit sharings, for their employees, for their hourly employees who've worked a certain amount of time last year, and it goes towards. It's a calculation that they do in order to pay them these profit share, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if the slaves would have got profit sharing off of just the cotton they picked, right? Because understand this, if you would have got profit sharing off of that, the labor's free, right? The labor's free, so you'll get something $10,000-$15,000 profit sharing back in those days, and imagine you could buy yourself you could buy your own freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You could have bought your own freedom, right? You looking at profit sharing today, in today's time, you see these companies get, ranging between right around, I think the lowest I seen was 8,000, the highest I seen was 15,000, right? They're going to get all that money in just one check, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully they invest it correctly and do the correct things like pay tax. Make sure you send your money to Commander General Yohana. Make sure you send it in. Send that money in so we can move around and help and keep on getting this word out to our brothers and sisters, right? So what you have to understand is that imagine if the slaves would have got one profit sharing check, right? Imagine what they could have done. Because understand is that master is he gaining filthy lucre.
Yeah. And let me give you one example,
please.
So this, right, we're gonna get through this a little bit. This is just speaking on the for-profit correctional facility called Core Civic. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They have, like, I gave you one report of $175 million a year. Okay. this money, is divided between hundreds of different shareholders.
Yes, sir.
And amongst these different shareholders, these funds go to different quote unquote nonprofit organizations. And these organizations, they spend money so that they don't have to pay taxes on certain things.
Yes, sir.
And so they have a lot of these shareholders putting this tax money into real estate. So, as to something you're saying about, imagine just getting one share and being able to invest it into something good. These detention facilities are taking shares and doing things like investing in real estate. You know what I mean? So what does this look like for a country? When you see what's a strip mall in America that's famous?
That's famous? A mall like Fairlane?
Yeah, like do they have
Rodale?
They have a bunch of them all over the states?
Oh yeah, Rodale.
So you got something like Rodale all over the states, right?
No, that's just in like high rich people land.
That's fine. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that is being funded by, these ICE detainees.
Oh yeah.
You wouldn't even know it. So when I say like America is built off the backs of slaves, Lord knows you got $175 million each year. You telling me these investors aren't putting this into every hotel on every corner of America? You know what I mean? Every major strip mall, their real estate is all over the place. You know what I mean? Buying acres and acres of land to invest whatever they want in.
With free labor, I'm buying swamp land and redeveloping it.
Right?
Yes. Because you're going to get it for cheap, right? And all you got to do is pump out the water and redevelop it.
God.
Once you put up some dams, some bayous, and some waterways to keep the water from pooling up, you got good land. Then you got rich soil, deep, rich soil. Because it's been wet for so long.
Yep.
Like my uncle has some swamp land, like 100 acres of swamp land down in I want to say in Mississippi. So my mother's side of the family came from Duck Hill, Mississippi. So my uncle got acres of lands down there that was passed down to him through the family. And he getting up in age and he's trying to figure out who he's going to pass that land through. 9 times out of 10 is going to be one of his sons. And one of them don't want it. But the thing about it is, I say the first thing you could do is go down there and trim all, because it has a lot of wooded land on there. I said you could trim all that timber off there and sell it, right? And that will give you your startup money to go ahead and redevelop that land. These are things that our people don't think of because think about it, we're so used to working, right? The taskmasters have made our burden so heavy that we don't get a chance to think about how to get out or how to come up with a business or how to come up with something else so that we can make our money make money for us. Because technically what we're supposed to do is work, make our money work for us instead of us working for our money. Right? So you're supposed to make $20. You're supposed to put your $20 into this investment, and then that investment pull out you $25, and you take your $25 and you put it back in this investment, right? Now that investment give you back your $30, right? And what you do is you take your 20 out. Now you sitting there with the investment money, and you let that money go back in, and you keep letting it invest to yourself, and you pull out your initial investment, and you scot-free. You have not made a loss. You won't see a loss. Right? And then that $20 that you pulled out, you invested in something else and let it make some money and start up some money somewhere else. Right. So that's, I understand that's how you thinking.
Yep. Let me play a couple of things and then we'll get right back on this topic.
Come on, sir.
We go to the library and then back, eat, sleep, and do the same thing tomorrow again.
Sameo also showed us the medical facility for 275 men and some 30 women, in addition to both short and longer-term dorms, all furnished with simple cots, open bathroom areas, metal tables, televisions, and not much else. Throw in the fact this place is run by CoreCivic.
Okay, so this is CoreCivic. This is an immigration detention center run by CoreCivic,
the largest for-profit prison corporation in America, and
the largest for-profit prison corporation in America. There's 2 or 3 for-profit prison corporations in America. I think the other one's called GECO or something like that. They're right up there with CoreCivic.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So these are ICE detention centers. Okay, they are run by for-profit prison corporations. Okay, this is important to understand. All right, I'm gonna play.
Hey, sir.
Yep. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you, but did you bring up the difference between for-profit prison systems and non-profit prison systems?
I'll give a short breakdown of it.
Please.
Okay, so the difference, one of the main differences between for-profit prison corporations is that the government can sign a deal or a contract with a for-profit prison corporation. Another word for for-profit is a privately owned prison detention center. Okay, these are privately owned. And what they typically do is the government will have a contract with this place saying, okay, you have 2,000 beds, 2,000 dorms, how many showers, X, Y, and Z. We're going to sign a contract with you to where the government will pay this private prison to house detainees at cheaper rates, because the private owned company will do things like have a little less staff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They'll have a little less staff so that now they can cut down on their overhead costs to run the facility. So basically the government can put quote unquote criminals in behind bars for a cheaper price. And how do the privately owned prisons, get their costs down? They'll do things like make your ass work in the kitchen for free.
Damn right. Or for $1 a month.
Yeah, that $1 a month, you'll be folding laundry inside the prison. You know what I mean? And that means that this privately owned prison now has more funds. So the government doesn't have to pay as much. This is a for-profit. Okay? That's basically the main difference. You know what I mean? Those are some of the things that the for-profit prison companies offer the government. And CoreCivic is one of the largest. I think this video said they're the largest. I think they're the second largest behind the GECO, but you can check that information out for yourself. But CoreCivic has taken over ICE detention centers. They're the ones signing the contract with the government, getting the contracts to open up or even reopen ones that were closed, detention centers, to put, these immigrants that are being hunted down by ICE. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so now that you're, in this detention center, check this video. Oh, the hub one. I don't got volume on this one. Let me see if I get some volume. Some up here.
Carpentry is nationally certified. I teach carpentry is nationally certified. This gives them a way to make money and have a little bit of pride. It's very rewarding.
Everything you can do to benefit yourself while you're here is going to be good. When I leave here, I'll be leaving with 3 certifications. I just want to give myself a life.
I think it's important to have all these programs because ultimately your end goal is to prepare these guys to get out. So you have to have these programs so that we're preparing them.
Your ass is going inside this detention center, and you gonna learn carpentry.
So you trying to tell me I can go to jail and get out with a general contractor's license?
It is so much deeper than that. You know what I mean? This is what they advertise, you know, to try and say that, you know, you're gonna go to jail, and what's the word that they use? We're gonna
rehabilitation.
Yeah, we're gonna rehabilitate these people back into society, and they're gonna come out and you're gonna have some carpentry skills. Let me tell you what's going on in that place.
Somebody get hit in the head with that hammer.
Look, you're going into a core civic detention facility, okay? As a immigrant caught by ICE. And you know what your job now becomes, Ahabawan?
Building. I'm surprised you won't be on one of these construction sites.
No, check this. You're gonna go and you're gonna work in the kitchen. You're gonna go do some laundry. You're gonna fold some clothes. You know what I mean? And don't get it wrong. When you're working in that kitchen, you're packaging food for homeless shelters. You're gonna package some food that gets sent to homeless shelters, and those homeless shelters are gonna make money from the government because they're non-for-profit organizations. And non-for-profit just means that you're gonna get a grant from the government, and you got to spend the money. You got to spend the money and show the government you're not making money. That all the employees are gonna get paid, and Core Civic is gonna invest that money. Trust me, they're gonna spend it.
They're definitely gonna spend it.
You know what I mean? And so now you have more workforce. You now have more labor because somebody that was inside of there, they don't got to cook food anymore, Ahabawan. Now they can go make furniture.
Make it sure, nigga. If I may, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
At one time, the what was that? Red Cross.
Right.
At one time, you know, Red Cross is a nonprofit organization. At one time, 90%, 97% of the donations went to administrative fees.
Right.
90. So if you donated $100,000, $97,000 was going to administrative fees.
Okay.
What the hell is the use of you being a nonprofit? What are you doing? You need $97,000 to give out $3,000?
Okay.
They are majority of these places, just like these churches, they're all for profit.
Yeah.
They just hide behind that non-profit clause.
Okay. You know what I thought was interesting was one of the major companies that Core Civic produces furniture for is a place called Home for Humanity. And Home for Humanity, there's one, you know, 2 minutes down the road from me. I bought some furniture from there.
Are you talking about Habitat for Humanity?
It might be called Habitat for Humanity.
Okay, that's what it's called over here in the States. It's called Habitat for Humanity. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can look up. You got Kaar beside you?
Kaar, he right here.
Yeah, ask him to look up Core Civic. Make furniture for Habitat for Humanity.
You got that? Core Civic making furniture for Habitat for Humanity. You know, Kahar owned it.
Yeah, I remember I spent maybe like $200 over there buying some furniture. I didn't know that this came from the prison.
I know it should have been cheaper than that.
Should have been cheaper.
Hey, look, I got a buddy of mine that owns a resale shop. So the next time you need some furniture, you know, I don't think he don't get his from prison or stuff. Brother, so he ain't getting it from prisoners, but he got a nice resale shop. Usually when I go get some things, I run into him, you know, when I'm looking for some, you know, especially like refrigerator stoves, some furniture, something like that.
Right. Does Kahar have that pulled up?
You got it? What you got there?
If you can read aloud, let's see what he has on that.
Okay. This says the world's largest private prison company. Look at that. The world's largest private prison company. You ever heard of a prison company?
The world's largest.
Largest private prison company is owned and operate prisons. It owns and operates prisons and jails, including immigration jails and community correction centers, and use forced prison labor and uses forced prison labor. It also provides carcinogen technology, transportation, and other services as part of the criminal punishment system.
As part of the what?
Criminal punishment system.
So you're an immigrant detained by ICE. You fall under this. Like there's so much protest going on in Minneapolis right now. You know what I mean? You know, ICE out there hunting down their own people.
Yeah.
Unaliving, you know, devils on live, you know, TV, cell phones everywhere, recording.
Man, you know those is good holy white folk that they unalive.
Yeah, those are mothers.
Those are mothers.
Those are mothers that ICE is unalive.
Yes, those are nurses. Those are decent human beings.
Meanwhile, and don't miss Black Watch tonight. You know what I mean? These ICE agents are being found out to be child predators. All different types of, you know, deviancies. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Commander General Yohana brings that out tonight. You know what I mean? If he doesn't, of course, that man knows way more than I do. You know what I mean? But
damn right.
Wouldn't be surprised if he brings some of that out tonight.
You know, P. Diddy and R. Kelly in jail right now.
Yeah.
And they had baby oil and pee.
I mean, isn't the dude saying that these immigrants are sexual? I'm not sure what I can say to get shut down on YouTube. They SA, you know, abusing children, you know, women. You know, these are supposed to be the most foul people of society that we need to send back to their country.
So if I may, sir,
these doing worse. Go ahead.
These detainees are complaining about being, you know, abused and SA, and nobody's looking into that. So if nobody's looking into it, you know what America does? It sweeps it up under the rug. It's undocumented. Right. So understand this is that as there were police officers here in Detroit, and these police officers were fondling women, you know, because you know a male police officer is not supposed to pat down a woman or female. Right. So there were women getting pulled over for, you know, minor traffic violations, being pulled out the car and fondled. Right. But think about it. They work for the government. So every complaint just really was swept up under the rug for a long time. Now, internal and what I understand is that you have internal affairs come and try to investigate their own brothers, their own people. Right? Think about this. I'm not saying, just say you out there doing something. Not saying you committing a crime. Just say you doing something that looks a little, that they might be like, Abuwan out here doing such. Right? We need to check into that. Make sure he ain't doing it. Now, you being a fellow brother in the UPK, once one of the men over you give you that order, you're going to investigate it to the fullest. Like, oh, yeah, well, I found out that Abuwan was doing this, that, and the other thing. Plus, he was doing this, that, and the other thing, sir. You might want to look at his rank, right? Because that's what they call it. When you what's it called? Something as an officer. It's like doing something unrighteous. It's like being unrighteous as an officer, right? That's how we would investigate us,
okay.
Right? But they don't have that same level of righteousness in their ranks and in their organization, so they sweep crimes up under the rug, and you have criminals with badges.
Man,
right? They just locked up
Salaki,
the guy that
Salaki, you being way too kind. Like these officers are putting women in their back seat, turning off the radio, going around the corner, and slaying these women in the back seat.
Slaying them.
You know what I mean?
Forcefully slaying them.
They this is a lot more than just, just grazing a woman's backside or some shit. Like these officers are wretched people. You know what I mean? What do you think they do after they get off work? You know what I mean? They're at the strip club spending $1,000 every night doing lines of cocaine, getting high out their mind, doing Lord knows what. You know what I mean? Like these officers are evil people. You know what I mean? They doing way more than just grabbing a woman's breast or some shit. You know what I mean?
Kind.
But yeah, Salaki, go ahead.
Yeah, I was like, and the thing about it, sir, is that if they had any level of righteousness in their ranks, right, you would be able to tell the difference. And this is what these individuals say. I've never seen it, but you would be able to tell the difference between the good cop and the bad cop.
Sure.
Because right now, I tell people all the time, you can't tell who the good cop is and the bad cop is, because the good cop is letting the bad cop get in the way with this stuff. So don't that make them all bad cops?
Yeah.
Right. So if as an officer in the ISUPK, if I allow officers under me that it's okay to go out here and snort a couple lines of cocaine, it's okay to get out here and get some weed in your system and get some hoes, then guess what? I'm not being an officer. Unbecoming of an officer. That's what it's called. Unbecoming of an officer. Right? So and guess what happened? In this organization, you will get pushed out. Why? If we can do that, right? Why can't the government govern itself? Since we are able to govern ourselves, shouldn't the government be able to govern themselves properly?
Yeah. It's like, I had to pull this up when you brought that up.
I know it's gonna be good too.
I can't let these cops get away with this shit. It's like, check this out.
Okay, we're just gonna turn on my car right here. Okay. Follow me. Is this car here?
Well, you're not.
The officer reminded this woman that she has a boyfriend. My boy.
Oh, he reminded her.
He reminded her. You got a boyfriend, woman. Stop running your mouth.
Well, I can't hear you now. say that right now.
He said, "Don't say it right now."
Don't say that. This woman's in the back seat. Yeah, I mean, probably this woman's probably high as hell, boy. You know what I mean? Maybe drank too much or something in the back seat. Just got cuffs on her in the back seat. This is a criminal, and this is supposed to be a righteous, honorable man. You know what I mean? Driving her to the police station.
Well, sir, if I may,
don't say that.
If I may, understand is that he reminded her that she had a boyfriend. Like, you got a man at home, woman. What you want me to do? You know, so far he's being righteous.
Right now, because everything's being recorded right now. What's going on?
He tells her everything is being recorded. Moments later, the officer's body cam goes dark. Shuts the body camera off. And then cops are watching him on the GPS. You know what I mean? Your car is being tracked, you dumbass.
You can't cut that GPS off.
So you should know that the GPS is on the vehicle.
Roll down and turn into a residential area. I've done that before.
You take her to a residential street. You got houses on either side of you. And you just stop right on the street. You know what I mean? What if there's kids walking by, What if there's kids playing outside?
He don't care.
He don't care.
His name probably is Nathaniel here.
Ten minutes later, he calls for help. He calls and says he's locked in the back seat with a woman.
Hold on. Wait. This righteous officer somehow was locked in the back seat. You ever been in the back seat of a police car, sir? There's not a lot of room back there.
No, it's funny.
It ain't a lot of room back there. And for you to close the door, right? knowing that these doors have child locks on them and it only can be opened from the outside. They got that child safety lock on it. So once they close the door on you, you can't get out. So he got to call for another officer because he locked in the back seat. Maybe he was trying to arrest her, sir. And he fell in the car and the door closed.
Maybe. He's back there for, it says, over an hour.
Brother got, dude got stamina. Now this guy body camera on. So all their keys fit all the cars?
I say step out of the vehicle for me.
Now I can see if it was cold out there, he wanted to sit down and talk to her. But when he sit in the front seat,
oh man. Well, I think
you see how insane it sounds when you give.
That's the point. I don't know if I got to play with.
No, sorry. You see, you see how insane it sounds when you give some unrighteous pervert the benefit of the doubt. I like to call that horal. That's when you got the morals of a whore. It's horal. That's just a word I made up.
Dang.
So he was in his horal right at the time, and he got locked in the back seat with the woman that he's supposed to be transporting to a detention center. So I got to ask you a question. He asked her to step out the car. Did he release her?
Did they release her?
Yeah.
No, you watch that full thing. They bring him down to the police station, and then he gets questioned like, "What the fuck were you doing?" He just by the end of it, because he's such a dumbass, he just comes out and says, "Yeah,
He comes out and say that he
yeah, he said what he did. You know what I mean? And then they walk off. That's the end of the video.
So I wonder what she was charged with.
No, but you know what I mean? You can only imagine again, what like the scriptures say, what comes to what's done in the dark will come to light. You know what I mean? To think that this is the only time that this officer did this.
This is the only time he got caught.
This is the only time he got caught. You know what I mean? And you see that with so many police officers. You know what I mean? They'll do whatever they can, you know what I mean, whatever they can get away with. Because they're not honorable people. They're not people of integrity. You're gonna go and sleep with a girl who's handcuffed, pissed drunk. You're supposed to be sober-minded on the job.
And if I may, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
These are individuals doing these things with body cameras. ICE does not have. I haven't seen one ICE officer with a body camera. You notice that when they had shot that mother, when they had unalived that mother in the SUV.
Okay, yep.
When they unalived, what was her name? Renee Good.
I don't want to remember that devil's name.
So look, when they shot the devil mother,
yeah.
So when they unalived her, understand is that every video came from somebody filming from outside. Okay. You never seen one camera from the body camera. Okay. You should at least see the body camera from the officer who assumed that he was going to get hit by the devil.
Okay. Yep.
But you think about it. We can't have Subway sandwiches because they look like guns. We can't have cell phones because they look like guns. We can't walk to our father's house from the store with Skittles and iced tea because, we always get away with this. That's what George Zimmerman said about Trayvon Martin.
Right.
We can't be 12 years old playing in a park and, that's what happened to Tamir Rice, 12 years old, playing in the park, right?
Yeah.
We can't give the police our ID. That's what happened to Fernando Castile, right? We really, it's really nothing we can do in this world that is, our hell and their heaven.
God.
So imagine how much it's going to be when it becomes our heaven and their hell.
Yeah, they got a lot to pay for. A lot to pay for.
And I'm not letting them skip out with a cent.
Yeah, I would be saying, Salakia Adawan, who's ever over me, if I may, I want quadruple. I want a lot more than double. Yeah, I mean, well, I want double for all the family that I never met. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. It's too bad it's unlawful to have a pinky toe necklace.
Sure. Every black or Hispanic man that says, I don't want them to pay me back. We don't need reparations. I'll take yours.
I'll take theirs.
Yeah,
I'll take theirs.
I'll whoop their backs for you. No problem. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to read this really quick just to, not to go too far off topic. This is from Core Civic, Real Estate Investments Trust Structure.
Ooh-wee.
It says Core Civic invests its money into real estate, primarily through its Real Estate Investment Trust, REIT structure. as a REIT, CoreCivic focuses on owning, operating, and leasing correctional and detention facilities. The company generates revenue through long-term government contracts, which provides stable and predictable cash flows. So check this out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where's this government funding coming from, Hubble?
Talking about through CoreCivic?
The government funding that goes to CoreCivic. How is the government paying CoreCivic?
They're paying them for house their detention individuals.
By taxes.
That too.
You know what I mean? Your tax dollar. So you go to work, you give your money to the government, you give your money to Caesar. Caesar takes that money, gives it to CoreCivic, which means the government doesn't pay for the facility. You pay for the facility.
Yes, sir.
After you pay for the facility off your labor, CoreCivic takes it and invests it into real estate.
You know what that sounds like? Money laundering.
Man. Like you want to talk about the perfect business. I imagine I said to you, this is what I'm offering you, Hobwan. You're gonna be my investor, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna open up a McDonald's tomorrow, okay? You're gonna pay for it, and then as you pay for it, all the employees I get, I'm gonna pay them 13 cents to $1 an hour. So I'm not paying for my own business. Somebody else is in. You're investing in it for me. And off your investment, I'm making $175 million a year.
I'm gonna tell you that sound like selling dope.
Man.
That's what it sounds like to me.
It's like selling dope, and I'm not collecting the dope. I'm not producing it.
What the plug don't pick up the dope or touch the money.
Come on, man.
It sounds like Donald Trump is the plug.
he is the plug. You want to talk about a good business? This is a good business. You know what I mean? And then off of all these millions of dollars that you're making, you investing in it. You're investing the money.
So guess what you don't do?
More money off the investment.
And guess what? When you invest all your profits, right, into something else, you don't have to pay taxes on.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the people that's working at the McDonald's.
God. You know what I would want, Ahabawan? If I was a person that owned this business, I want more ICE agents on the street.
Yes.
That's all I want. I want more people locked up so that they can be classified as a criminal.
Man, I have more ICE detainees. I have more ICE training centers than high schools in Detroit.
Ahabawan, if you look at me the wrong way, I am making a new law that says you are a criminal. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, this would be the sad eye effect.
I want everybody locked up. And you know what? And I'm gonna put this law inside of the ghetto.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to the reservation and I'm gonna say every native Indian that looks at me sideways, lock their ass up. And make a law where I don't have to wear a body camera. I don't care how you lock them up. You know what I mean? I don't care what you do to lock them up. Put them inside this ICE detention facility because I got some money to make.
I'm gonna tell you what you just explained. You just explained the arrest of Emmett Till.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no body cameras, right? You got law enforcement individuals, right?
Yeah.
And those individuals that was with law enforcement, you know, ICE, and they came and snatched this young boy up out his uncle's house. They snatched this young boy up out his uncle's house, right? And with snatching this young boy up out his uncle's house, he was never seen alive again. Right? 1,500 kids missing in these ICE detaining centers, never seen alive again. right? You got missing women. You spoke about it last week about how many missing Native American sisters or locked up Native American sisters in Canada right now.
Yep.
Right. Understand
that number. I select your other one. If that, when I say there's some things that get me a little emotional, like the Canadian government needs to be. I don't know if I can say put a bullet in somebody's head. You know what I mean? Like it needs to stop. Because how the fuck do you have 60% of indigenous women making up the prison population when you're 4% of the fucking population? You know what I mean? You cannot tell me slavery is over.
Systematic slavery now.
You cannot tell me this shit is over.
It's systematic slavery.
And you know what I mean? I would look back 40 years from now, and you know what I would say, Abba One? Well, it wasn't all indigenous people that were in slavery. It was just 60%. You know what I mean? Not all white people are evil. Not all indigenous people were enslaved, or Abba One. There was only 60% of them in the prison. Come on, man.
We got Qatar just checked in, sir.
Okay, shalom, other ones. Yeah, it's absolute insanity. I was gonna ask Ka'ar to look something up. Can't remember what it was.
Well, sir, if you don't remember what it was, we're a little bit over the time, but if we got any more questions, I don't see any questions. Ann Smith said the devil mother.
The devil mother. Yeah, damn right, sis. Man. Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I'll just end it on. Oh, that's slack. I want to look up one more quick thing. Or could you look up really quick? Is the immigration detention centers going up in population every year? You know what I mean? Just to end on that. You know what I mean? Because it wouldn't make sense for ICE to be backing down. You know what I mean? It wouldn't make sense to be detaining less people. It's not profitable. You know what I mean? It's not good business. You see China and Russia, you know what I mean, raising and becoming superpowers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What keeps America strong? Free labor.
Yes, sir.
Free labor.
What has always kept America strong? Free labor. You think it's going to change now?
It's not.
You know what I mean? Think about this. What has always kept Iraq and Iran, those countries over there, strong? Oil.
Yeah.
Even when America came and confiscated their oil facilities, they still have some where they can mine their own oil.
Mm-hmm.
They're still running strong. You still got these sheiks. What's that over in like Dubai and stuff like that? You got these sheiks over there. We was watching the boxing match at Cap House the other day, and you got these sheiks out there trying to dress and look like us, trying to have that swag we got, right? Coming out there with the fancy, they had on some type of fur coats on, fancy glasses, necklace and chains and all that kind of stuff. It was blinged out. Right? But who are they trying to look like? Who they're trying to be like? Yeah. They're trying to be like that salt of the earth. Right? You got that?
Yeah, and and it's funny too, because you got to think about it. It's not just anybody's free labor. You know what I mean? I've been in construction a long time, and I will tell you, you're not going to get a better construction worker than a Hispanic brother.
It's not.
You're not going to get a smarter, more capable construction worker than a black, Hispanic, or indigenous brother.
So I got the numbers for you, sir. You ready?
Everybody, we outperform everybody. What we build is superior to everybody, and we're doing this shit for free. Yeah, go ahead with those numbers.
Well, real quick, just to double up on what you're saying about the Hispanic brothers, I watched Hispanic brothers do 3 roofs on houses. I'm talking about the smallest house was probably about 3,000 square feet, right? I seen these brothers, the same team, do 3 houses, right, in 2.5 days.
Okay.
They're not playing. I'm talking about these. I'm talking about complete tear-offs too.
Yeah, look,
They're not playing.
I'll tell you this, Alba, because I do drywall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I built most of my career downtown Toronto, drywalling high-rise units, like 50-story units and stuff, or 50-story units. So I'll go in, I'll drywall like 5, 6, condos per floor. You know what I mean? You just keep working up. That's what I do for work. And as the one of the major problems inside Canada is probably similar to the States is these young kids aren't getting into trades anymore.
Yep.
The people that get in trades, they're not, as skillful or qualified as a lot of the journeymen, licensed carpenters are like they used to. So the lack of skill inside of trades is going down, and the amount of the labor, we're losing the labor. I think they had like 5,000 people, just retire within the last 2-3 years from the baby boomers.
That's gonna drive that labor costs up.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So we lost so much skilled labor. And as they did that, what Canada started doing to replace the labor was hiring immigrants, you know what I mean, to come in from other countries. And what these unions were doing were hiring Hispanic brothers, over from Mexico, from the Dominican Republic, you know what I mean, to come in because they were working at lower rates than other people. And so these companies are hiring these Hispanic brothers. And you know what started happening in Ottawa? All the white people in Toronto that work in skilled trades started leaving the city because they were complaining that they couldn't compete with the Hispanic brothers. They are drywalling, you know what I mean, like 10 units a week. You know what I mean? Just killing the condos. And the white people could not keep up with the Hispanics. And so they started complaining to the unions, because they can't keep up. Nobody can outwork Issachar in construction.
You cannot do it. It's impossible.
You know what I mean? I watched that firsthand, and I laughed at how many white people would come to me and complain, talking about we got to get the Hispanics out of Toronto.
Them brothers take a break once a week.
Man, they kill it. They come here, they make their money, go back to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And a little
I got the numbers for you, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, and we'll end up the class.
So this is the immigration detention trend from 2019 to 2026. In 2019, pre-pandemic, detention population reached about 55,000 in August of 2019. Right? Mm-hmm. It dropped between 2020 to 2021 to a little under 14,000, and that's all the way into the early 21, and it dropped because of the pandemic.
Okay.
Right? So from 2021 to 2024, that's during the Biden administration, detention levels gradually rose from 14,000 to 39,000 at the end of January 12, 2025. Right? Now, from 2025 to 2026, detention populations rose dramatically following the start of the Trump turn in early January. By late August in 2025, numbers reached a record of 61,000.
There you go.
Wait. Record has, as of mid-January, right, 2026, the population exceeded 68,000 with a projected suggesting a potential increase towards 100,000 people.
Sure. Abawan, thou art a prophet. Surprise, surprise.
Hey, you know what? One of the generals said something the other day that made me think. Now it's not much that they say that don't make me think, but we all here trying to make this money and get this, these finances into the school. We know all the prophecies, right? We know what's gonna happen. Invest according to their prophecies.
Yeah. Amen.
We should have known that gold was gonna go up to gold gonna keep going up. We should have known that. Right? Stuff like that we should know. We should have known. So wheat gonna be a cent.
Yep. The water for that. You know what I mean? And
yes, sir.
The water for everybody tuning in. The water Ka'ar. Shout out Priest and Officer 50 Ka'ar. You know what I mean? Clap it up for that brother doing amazing work.
He put in good work.
Damn right. Officer 500 Ahabawan. You know what I mean? Put in good work. The water for everybody tuned in. You know what I mean? Everybody tuned in. Make sure, again, you like, share, subscribe. Do not miss Commanding General Yohana. I believe they're live now. All right.
Yeah, we got to get out of his way.
Yep, we got to get out of his way. Let's shut it down. Head over to Black Watch. The generals going over, you know what I mean, all the news for Blacks, Hispanics, Indigenous, breaking it down. You know what I mean? They'll catch you up on the times, what's going on, what to look out for, how to live. All right, make sure you get into Black Watch. With that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isubk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West.